lovelies, and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to create this wig that I have on my head. If you already have a weave on and you don't know how to make your own wig, then stay tuned, watch this video, because I'm going to show you how I made this wig from start to finish, how to sew your own wig.
To begin this process, I thread my needle first. I make sure I thread all the needles that I'm going to use for this wig making, and this is the head I'm going to use. I put my net onto the mannequin head. I make sure it's secure, and I use my pins to secure the net to make sure it doesn't move around. This is going to help the cap stay in place on the head of the mannequin. I'm going to secure my 4x4 closure onto the frontal part of the net. Using my pins, I'm going to take the ones that are already there to secure it, because if I use another extra one, it's going to make it too bulky. So when I finish securing this from the front to all the way back, I'll make sure it's really tight, strong. Then I hold all this hair up, I tie it away. Here are my threaded needles I'm going to use. I will start sewing from the front side of it going to the back. As I said, I'm going to make sure this is well sewn and secure. First of all, I start sewing the very pointed end of it. I sew that place about 4 times. This will make the beginning of it very strong and hard to stay in place. Then I'll continue the rest of it sewing towards the back. I'm going to cut this one off to make it a bit quicker, so I'm just showing you how it looks, how I'm going to do it. So I'm continuing towards the back. This is how it's going to look, just simple and easy, like sewing any ordinary thing around all of the hair. The needle I'm using to do this sewing at the moment is designed like a C, made for sewing wigs, but I feel like it's not that so much comfortable for me when I'm using it. It doesn't hold well in my hand, so at the end I changed to another needle which was quicker. So now I'm going to continue. This is the hair I'm going to use to do the whole of my wig. This hair was used, it was an old wig that I had and I left it. I don't use it anymore, and I decided to remake it to be new so that I can use it myself now. So I'm starting to sew the same way that I started with the other one. I'm going to secure the first part of it, sew it about 5 times and make sure it's hard enough. Then I'm going to continue sewing all around until this piece of hair is finished. Also, the next one I'm going to show you how I secure it with a pin. If I use a pin to hold it all the way to the other end, it's very easier for you to sew it, so that it will not be in the other hand and be distracting you, like as I'm holding it in this hand right now. Sewing with my right hand and then holding with the left hand is not the easiest. So I'm going to show you how I secure it the next one. This is the way I did it. Use my pins to secure it already before sewing. In this way, when you get to where the pin is, you just take it off and then continue sewing, and it makes your work very easier for you. So this is the way I sew the whole head around. When I finish this stage, I'm going to put another wig on top of it and I'm going to pin it down, and this is how I tie the knot. When the needle is finished, the thread is finished, I cut it with a 6s and then I tie it around about 3 or 4 times to make sure it's secure, and I cut it away. That is all, and then I continue my sewing. This is another hair that I put on again, and I'm showing you how I secure it to make it easier for me to sew. That is how it is, very simple. As I put the pins around it to secure it, I just start my sewing. When I finish, I take them off and I continue the next one. This makes the work so easy for me. The needle I'm using in this part, you can see, is so different from the first one I was using and I started with. This one is easier for me to use than the very bent like C1. I don't know why, because when I'm holding that C1, it slides out of my hand. Sometimes it fall out, doesn't make the work quicker for me. So this is the best one that I like. When I'm sewing in the thread in the needle finishes, I cut it off as I said, and then I wrap it around about 4 or 5 times and I cut it away. So when I get to where the hair is so long, I wrap it up there. I don't cut the hair off because it's too long. I wrap it on top of it to make it shorter, and then I continue using the same hair and I secure it with a pin. In this way, when I'm sewing the hair or I'm taking it off another time, it will not be like short hairs cut all around. It will be simple, a very long hair. So this hair is like, I've used it about 3 or 4 times sewing already in a very long line hair, not cutting it into short pieces, but you can cut it into shorter pieces to make it easier for you if that is what you want. I just prefer for the hair to look longer when I'm sewing it, and when I'm taking it off, maybe someday it will look the same way that And the easiest part of this whole sewing for me is that I threaded my needles down already, so when I'm sewing and it gets finished, I don't struggle to go and be threading another needle and wasting time. I just take the one that is already threaded down there. About 4 or 5 of the needles has been threaded, and this place I'm going to combine one end of the hair to the other and then sew it into one, because the space that is left at the top is just a little space and I don't want the hair to look that long. So I'm going to wrap this around like a U. That is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to continue sewing it all about until it finishes to the end. Sewing this part is a bit complicated because the hair and the space is becoming smaller, which you might end up hurting yourself with the needle if you are not careful. So make sure you watch your hand when you are doing this. And this part I'm using the C kind of looking needle because it works better in this place where there is no much space. The needle can just go under it, under the weave on, and then fetch a little bit of it and then bring the needle out. That is why I'm using this needle here. Even though I don't like it, it is doing the best job at this part for me because it works well going into all the little spaces that are left on the top of the wig that I'm making. So I just continue my sewing until it finishes to the end. I make sure I bring the needle out and pull it well to secure the hair for me. So I'm almost getting to the end of it, and I'm going to show you how I seal the little space that is left showing there. This is a bit the most hardest or complicated part of it, or when you are done with sewing this wig. Right now I'm just making sure the wig is hard and secure before I continue like seal it off. The end bit of the hair is going to be well wrapped and tied around. This way when I'm wearing the wig and I'm brushing and combing through, it will not fall. You see that it is a bit like coming out, so I make sure I secure it tightly onto the root. So this is the piece of hair I'm going to use to close the space that is left. I'm going to combine this into like one. How I'm holding it, I'm going to put it there. You see that it has closed the space that is left there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew. I'm going to start sewing with the same C looking needle from the top of it. I'm going to close it with a glue. This is a hair making glue. I'm going to make sure the hair is stuck with the glue, and then I press it into the space in the middle that is left. Make sure it's dry and tight before I continue my sewing. In this way the remaining top of it will be hard enough when you are brushing your hair and it will not fall off. So I make sure this is dry and then I sew again. I use needle on top of it to sew. Make sure it is really hard on it. So this is how it look. As it dry, I sew it up again as I'm showing my hand there. And then now I finish, I'm going to undo the rest of the hair that is at the front. The front that I wrapped, you see that it has come to cover the line that is there. But then I realized this hair is not enough to cover it, so I put another wig there to sew. You see what I did? So it will come and cover the space that I'm showing there. And so now you can see how the difference it makes. It covers all the space of the end of the hair that is left there. This is how it is looking now. Almost done sewing my wig. I'm going to start styling it. I'm using my Dax wax to just put into the hair before I start putting in my hair straighteners to make this hair straight. I'm going to cut the ends of this hair. I'm going to make it look like a bob, so that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to make sure I straighten all to the end of the hair because I untied this hair. It was cut like a bob before, and when I was sewing I did not know how to sew it properly, arranging the hair. You see that some part of the hair at the back is shorter and some of them are longer, which is not supposed to be. So I'm going to cut it and make sure they are all in line and perfect how I want it after straightening the hair. So I'm going to continue with my straightening, and when I'm done I'm going to continue with that process. I'm just using my Smith hair straightener, my old hair straightener that I have, or my first hair straightener that I had. I'm going to make sure the frontal part of the hair is straightened, all the parts of the hair is straightened before I start cutting. That is what I chose to do because I don't want to start cutting the hair into a bob before straightening it. With how this hair is, some part is long and another part is short. I feel like when I finish straightening it before I cut the hair into a bob, it will look nicer and make it look cleaner for me. So that's the reason why I chose to straighten first before doing the next stage. So I'm almost done with the straightening. This is just the back side that I'm showing you. Then I'm going to show the side of it, or how I did, and then the frontal part of it. And I'm just happy how my wig is looking. I did not expect it to look this good because it was quite an old wig, and I abandoned it because even the cap of it was too big and I hardly really use it, so I just abandoned it. And this one, if I should have sent it for someone to do it for me, I bet it will cost me a few bits. So I'm glad I'm able to do my wig, and I hope this process will help you too. So now I'm almost done with the frontal part of the hair straightening. You see that it is showing already what I'm talking about, like a bob, because it's already a short wig. It's already showing that style of a bob looking already. The hair straightener is taking a longer time to do its job because it's getting old and I have to change it. So this is the other side of the hair, how it's looking. I've finished the other side, and then I'm taking pieces of hair from this end and then straighten it just like I did to the other end. I'm going to make sure I do all the same way to the rest of the hair, even towards the back. The ones that are still showing up there, I'm going to do the same to them. Make sure the hair look this smooth and nice, facing inward, not outward. I want it to face inward. When I cut it, I want it to look that way, because when I wear the wig, I want it to look a bob facing in, not a bob facing out. There is a different bob wig style like that, like facing out, but this one I want it to face in. So this is how I did it, and it is looking. I'm cutting the ends of the hair that are flying about. Make sure it's all in line for me how I want it to look. I'm just cutting it in my scissors. Nothing special, just a scissors to cut this end all off. You see that it is giving that shape of a bob already to me, and it is looking good from the back. This is how it is looking, really nice for me already, prepping my hair for me to wear. So this is how it looks after cutting it. I'm brushing the side of it. I'm going to show this is the back, how it is looking. Because of the mannequin head, when the wig is on it, the head of it, you see that it looks as if it's not straight. It's because of the way the mannequin head is designed. So I'm just showing around the whole hair how it looks. This is how it looks from the side, the back, and everywhere. And now I'm going to cut the net that is left at where my lace is. This will make my lace show well when I'm wearing the wig. It will make it look as if it is a scarf, but it is not. So I'm just making sure I take time to cut this gently so that I don't cut into my lace. This will ruin everything if I do that. So just taking time to cut it all off, and that is how it looks. When I wear the wig, before I'm going to see the parts to cut off again, I think the end bit they needed cutting, and then now I'm just combing it, and this is how it is looking already, as if, yeah, well, it's ready for me to use. And here it is. I'm going to put it on my head and show you how it all looks. So nice. This is the wig that I made myself, and I'm so happy and proud I did this, because I never thought I could be able to do this myself. Glad I did it, even though it took me a while to finish it. So where my hand is, I'm going to cut that bit off, the little black that is showing there. I'm going to cut it off at the both end of it to make it disappear, so when I wear the wig you don't see it showing. So this is how it is looking now. I'm going to use I'm combing it through to see the parts that maybe needed some bit of cutting again or straightening. So I'm going to use my hair straightener again and straighten the side part of it, because I feel like it is not that curved the way I want it to look, a bit like inward. A lot of it, I did not want it to like be flat on, so just bending it into it again. When I finish, I'm going to use my brush to just brush onto it again to make it smooth looking, and that is all. I'm done doing my wig. Here comes the end of my wig. What do you think about today's wig making? Is it good? Do you like it? Leave your comments below, and I'll be back here to reply you. And remember to subscribe.
Thank you for watching this wig making tutorial. I hope it was helpful to you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.